Today, Junior. Oh, that fucking movie. If you can recite the name of that movie, I will give you this knife. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. That is a joke. Anyway, I have the Kizer Vanguard. You like how I built up the anticipation? Something that no YouTuber has ever done. So anyway, this is... They all do that. That's a joke. We're just full of jokes today. This is the Vanguard. I'm sorry, the Kizer Vanguard, and it's not like your most expensive blade in the world, but it's a Kizer and pretty good company, and I like this knife. It looks like it really reminds me of a shark. You know what I mean? And I like to think of my knives as animals-ish. I mean, this one's a zebra, tiger, Siberian. This one is a black widow, I think. I don't know. Anyway, this is the Vanguard Shark Hunter. Kizer Vanguard. So let's just talk about it a little bit, I guess. I just bought it. I don't know why I keep buying knives. Honestly, I have so many of them. I just like knives. When I see one that's cool and attracts me, when I see one that attracts me, I buy it. I buy it. Oh, this video is fucked. Anyway, who cares? It's got a nice little thumb stud to fly the blade out. It's not assisted. G10 scales, which I like. They're pretty nice. It's pretty good on ergonomics. There's no jimping on it, which, it's just not that kind of knife. I don't think it would look good with jimping on it, to be honest with you. I don't even think, this one looks good. The rat looks good with the jimping, but I just don't think that, this Kizer would do it justice. I just think that it's good how it is. I like this little area where your finger goes. I really like that. So that, it gives you don't have a lot of belly to get down on something because of the way the blade is, and it's up like that. You do have a little sharpening cut there. I don't know what it's called. Choil, I guess, possibly. I don't know. But, unless you're at the edge of what you're cutting, let's not display on my finger, shall we? But something like that, it's going to be hard to get down flat on something. You're only getting really up to this part of the blade if you're, flat. So, but, whatever. It's a good food prep knife for lunch, I think. If you're bringing steak in to work, this is the knife I think I'd probably want to carry with me. I cut all of my food with whatever knife I have at work, whether it's, spreading butter on a freaking roll or cutting slices of cheese or, thinner or something like that. I like them really thin. Sometimes they're not thin enough. And, whatever knife I have usually does the trick, unless I tend to not use my knives for doing actual work tasks, like prying stuff or things like that. Like I have pry tools and different tools and a multi-tool. For that, my knives I use specifically for cutting boxes, mainly a lot of boxes, packages, and my lunch, and letters and shit like that. I love the clip. I've heard complaints about it. I love it. I love the way it looks. I just like this knife a lot. It's about $70 on Amazon. A little cheaper, I think. It's $60 to $70. I love how it's got this blue anodized pivot. It just looks so good. There is one complaint about it. I'll get to it. I put a lanyard on it. I like lanyards on all my blades pretty much. I think I only have one knife that doesn't have a lanyard on it. But anyway, as you can see, it says the Kizer, and it's just real simple. VG10 steel. So it's, you know, it's a good steel. It's a half decent steel. I'm not going to torture test it. I'm not an idiot. I think that's pretty stupid. I mean, yeah, for guys that want to see what a knife can take, yeah, it's fine, but I'm not going to do it on mine. If it breaks, it breaks. So, I believe it's like lettered. I would assume that's what those numbers are. And yeah, there's the knife maker's name. What's it say? Begleiter? I don't know who that is. It's got a pretty good lanyard hole. I think it matches good with it. Even looks good without one. I debated whether to put one on it or not. But then the blue, and I seen this colored paracord I had laying around, and I decided, yeah, it fits really well in the pocket. It's not a deep carry clip, but it might as well be. I mean, when you have it all the way up in your pocket edges, going all the way up into that, so you're really only displaying about that much of this knife. I mean, it sits really, really well in your pocket. You can flip it, the clip. You can't put it tip down though. But you got righties and lefties. It's got a good lockup, 70%. It looks like, at least. Liner locks, and they are drip. Like, so if you look, maybe a little hard to see. Yeah, so you can see them here. See the holes? So, you know, lightened up. Not on the other side though, but it's probably got, you know, it's pretty good balance. You know, it's pretty much centered on the balance. So I think it's a good knife, and it's a very competitive knife with your Spyderco Delica, which is about the same price range. VG10 steel, and I'm telling you, the build quality of these two blades, if I was to pick one that has a better build, it's definitely this one. This is just a high, you could just feel it. It's just a higher quality everything, you know. Nothing wrong with the Spyderco Delica. It's a good blade. I love it. I carry it pretty much every single day. If I'm not carrying that, I'm carrying my ZT, or I'm sorry, my Kershaw Dividend, which is another cheap blade, which is awesome. But as you can see, this is a bigger, it's actually, it's not a bigger knife as when it's closed. But let's see what they look like when they're, oops, when they're opened up. I'll explain about the flicking on that knife in a second. Both of these knives are not flicky knives at all. They want to be. This one can be, and I'll show you how. So, the Vanguard's obviously bigger by, well, I don't know, maybe an inch. So, these are just not flicky knives like your PM2 where you're just gonna, where it's gonna fly open like that and close really fast, and you know. But this is a $140 knife. You know what I mean? So this one too. This one wants to fly out of there and you know, close easily. Well, it's not doing that today, but I switched to scales, and it needs to be a little, it needs some operating. But I don't carry this knife much. This is my backup survival knife, and this thing is basically huge compared to any knife I have as far as pocket knives go. Actually, they're about the same size, so they're pretty close. But I think I would pocket carry. I don't pocket carry this knife. It's just too big, bulky, and heavy, especially with these new scales. The old scales just didn't do it for me. I think I'm going to get another rat, maybe even a small one. But, you know, I like this one. This is my full custom knife. It's not, you know, super duper custom and great steel. It's D2, but, you know, it's not a bad knife for a backup, just to throw in one of my EDC pouches, just to have a backup knife that's always on me. But generally, I've been carrying a fixed blade as a backup, so let's run it with the Spyderco PM2, and it's about the same size as the PM2, blade, belly, and everything. Now my PM2 is just getting destroyed. This thing is just taking an absolute ass beating. Due for get it sent out in repairs and stuff, and get it back to factory. The coating on it's holding up well. It's just it gets banged up. I love this knife. This is my favorite knife right here, the Spyderco Paramilitary 2, and I am gonna grab another one soon. And it's just just perfect, the PM2. But anyway, the Kizer and these two are basically my new EDC and the ZT, which I don't have. Oh, I'm sorry. I have them in my pocket. So this is the ZT. I'm sorry, God, the ZT. The Kershaw Dividend, which is my pretty much go-to everyday carry knife. It's cheap, made in America, and you just can't go wrong with this knife at all. But the Kizer, it's better build quality than all these. As far as cheap knives go, the Kizer it's just a well-built knife as far as everything goes, as far as the clip, the way the blade comes out, the pivot, just the way the scales are, and their G10. And this is plastic. This is plastic reinforced fiberglass, and so is this. And they're not junk. They're great knives, but the build quality is there, as almost comparable to this. The only difference is the steel. This is S30V. Yeah, I was making sure it wasn't 35. But this is S30V, and this is VG10, which, whatever. Steel is steel. I mean, as long as it's heat treated right, it's going to be a good steel. This also came with a nice little rag here, and I really thought that was cool. First thing I did was run some nano oil in there, the number 10. And yeah, if you want to take apart knives too, by the way, guys, because we're going to have to do this to this knife eventually. This is the kit that I use for it. The Weehaw, this little kit of Torxes, and they're really high grade steel, and they don't break or bend, and it's pretty expensive. It's like $70 for that kit, so it's not cheap like this cheap Husky one I have. That's use it on one knife and they're bending and breaking, and just junk cheap steel they use. Anyway, so the problem with this knife that I've seen about it is, like the PM2 is coated. That's coated. That's a coated blade. This is painted. Ooh, almost got me. This is painted, and that's it. Why it's not able to fly out of there like that, and why I almost cut myself, because if it doesn't fly out fast, you end up slipping and then trying to push and almost cutting yourself on a blade there. So you got to really be careful. I just like to kind of move my thumb out of the way and give it a slight flick. You shouldn't have to flick this knife. So all they had to do was, and what's slowing it down is the fact that this is a coated blade, and that paint is getting, see the gold pivots and the washers in there? That paint is slowing that down and rubbing against all that, and that's what's slowing that blade down. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand that out, the paint around that screw. All they had to do was freaking put a piece of tape there, and they're just trying to cut corners on build costs and stuff, but instead of coating the blades, they painted them. But all they had to do was take the edge off there, or in a little circle, or put a washer, the washer that they're using. All they had to do is put the washer that they're using on the blade, and that's why they painted them, and it would have never had this problem. It would fly out of there and it would drop just as easy as the PM2. But so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the blade out. I'm going to get take that off, take the blade out, and sand the edge here, and polish it, and it'll be bare steel, and that should fix that issue there. And then it just turns it into like $100 knife easily. You know what I mean? It's just a nice clean looking blade. I love the G10 scales. They're not G10 as Spyderco. I mean, it's the same material. It's a different feel. I actually enjoy this a little more. It's more like carbon fiber-ish looking, and it's just a sharp looking knife, man. It's really nice. It came sharp on one side, one edge. This side not so much, but it still does the trick. I'm going to go ahead and run them through the stones a few times and get that one edge pretty good with my Spyderco Sharp Maker. I probably don't even have to use the brown. I probably just use the white stones. But, yeah. So, that is the Vanguard, and it's a pretty good blade. And I give it an 8 out of 10 for an EDC knife. If you want something a little bigger or a little bit more build quality better than your Spyderco Delico, or even this Kershaw Dividend. I have a ZT clip on there. That's why I keep calling it the ZT. I do have a ZT knife, but that's why I have the clips. But anyway, yeah, it's got a pretty good build quality to it, and it's a pretty decent blade. So there you guys go. There you guys go. That is the Kizer Vanguard. See you guys next time. Peace.